We are live. This is the market update. BlackRock got everyone's crypto. The big July 4th move is here. A wild V bottom. Who knew? There's always a surprise. Will this continue? Yes, because it's big, beautiful Bitcoin taking advantage of what's going on with sovereigns, spending, not spending. The rally is here. This could go on for 3 days. This could go on for 45 days. Anybody who tuned in to the morning market meeting got some statistics about how this thing could continue. XRP applies for a banking license. Vitalik goes, I don't know if we should be decentralized. I got some news about Peter Thiel and OpenAI and all the guys in Web 2. I think you're going to want to stay very decentralized. Thank you very much. Altcoin despair. Gann will tell you, you don't need any reason for the market to go down. To go up, you need larger cooperation and a reason. So you need the herd and you need a reason to go up. To go down, like yesterday, you don't need a reason. I looked for one and I couldn't find it, other than the fact that literally everybody gave up. And I was even on the YouTube member live stream throwing my research across the room. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Naturally, that would be a bottom. We even see things like Bitcoin in a quiet range. No one's interested, according to CME volume. Really? No one's interested in Bitcoin. Everyone's selling altcoins into support. Vitalik bearish his own coin. RFKJ comes to the rescue of the orange man. $3 trillion in spending coming, because anybody who's against it will undoubtedly get more sugar, or to get the big, beautiful bill to pass, they'll put the crypto provision in it. By the way, did you know the orange man has 8% of his total net worth in crypto? What do you think is going to happen when these guys get their bags all filled up? Wouldn't it be funny if the announcement was over July 4th? I said that last week. July is supposed to be a big month, and July 4th is the biggest week in July, the biggest weekend in July. The biggest weekend in July. Jerome Powell behind the curve. Jerome Powell taking heat to the degree that we could look like a banana republic. That means dollar lower. Now, if the dollar has to fall, but nobody wants to buy the euro, the yen, or the Swiss franc, oh, thank God the yen stopped. If no one wants the euro, the yen, or the Swiss franc, what are they going to want? Oil, gold, silver, and Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP. Meanwhile, back at the ETF ranch and the crypto equities ranch, you'll notice crypto equities up 10% today. They must watch the show. And then what's going to happen is when those ETFs come out, equities players are going to want diversification. They're like, oh, cool. We'll buy 20 of these. We'll buy some Michael Saylor private placements, the preferred stock. We'll get private placements from Michael Saylor. We'll get the preferred stock. We'll get Bitcoin miners. We'll get Bitcoin, Solana, XRP ETFs. And the next thing you know, a big mutual fund can put 5% of their money into crypto. MicroStrategy above 400. Hedge funds, short sellers. How's it going out there? You going to have a good weekend? You're going to go home on Thursday thinking about what they're going to do with Bitcoin over the weekend? Now that they washed everybody out and made everybody upset? Guilty. They got everybody out. And I don't blame you. Everyone was like, I should have invested in stocks. It's a disaster. Guys on Twitter were like, it's over for altcoins. Even Vitalik is like, I got this headline. You got to see it. He's like, well, you know, there's not much use case for Ethereum if it's not a decentralized world. And wait till you see what headlines follow. It's unbelievable. Ultimate definition of a bottom. And wait until you see how the day trading plan that the Spartans in Patreon got. Right? A couple days ago, I was like, here's the July 4th day trading plan. And I looked at it today and it was like spot on. Not to mention, Toby told you yesterday in the YouTube member podcast, don't sell. Toby said, don't sell. If anything, buy. Big Rich was hoovering up Solana, right? The Spartans of Patreon. Solana at 150, I'll take it. Solana at 148, I'll take it. Solana at 200, he's going to look like a genius. Like our YouTube members, right? Like T-Bone buying crypto equities. These guys are like practically part of the show. Practically. Okay, let's welcome who's here. Okay, we have Bull Runner, Big Rich. What's going on? Welcome to the show, gentlemen, ladies. Okay, don't forget to check out that YouTube member area. Indie Rock Crypto, Brandon, Gavin, members. By the way, if you get the $4.99, you get access to a whole bunch of cool emojis. Okay, and you get priority on comments. Big Rich in the house. Jared Carpenter. Ron, a member for 6 months. Thank you, sir. Okay, Philip, Felix, Cisco, Pancakes and Peanut Butter. JH with that killer profile picture. Right? All right. Greatest, Renee, Crypto Tilly, Your Bass Hurts, Hot Mess Express. What's up? Right. Hot Mess Express likes the regular market update, not the morning meeting. Two different styles. The morning meeting is a little bit more cerebral. This one's got a little bit more volume. Grandpa Keeter in the house. Lee J, the big, beautiful Bill. Okay, people, do not forget to get yourselves in Patreon. We got more research than God in the Patreon Platinum area. And no Spartans, they got a little bit of don't quit on crypto yesterday. And the day trading plan that they got is working. Working. Now, starting out with the thumbnail title of the show. Guess who's got all your crypto? Guess who's not only doing a supply shock? Traders, like not too long ago, they had a lot of options expire. So bullish bets and other kind of bets rolled off because options are time-based. They expire. Guess what? Apparently, nobody put on any new bullish bets. You know how you know? Because the second you get a catalyst, it's off to the races. Meanwhile, BlackRock and Michael Saylor and all these guys just keep hoovering it up. And here's a really funny stat. BlackRock makes more money, more fees from the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF than it does from its S&P 500 fund. Now, in a way, that's kind of skewed because, there's almost no margin on S&P funds, but still, right? They make more money on Bitcoin ETFs than on S&P. That's mind-boggling. Considering the reason BlackRock is so powerful is the amount of S&P that they own. It's incredible. Right? Now, this was yesterday. Bitcoin CME premium slides suggesting waning institutional appetite. Get everybody leaning bearish one way, bearish, and then boom. They leaned everybody bearish. They told you it was no good. They left it dead quiet. But the signal was that Bitcoin didn't go down when alts fell apart. And the big, beautiful bill, right? The big, beautiful bill. Decision time. Bitcoin coiled for a breakout. What saves altcoins? If you missed the morning meeting, what saves altcoins? Bitcoin does. Bitcoin dominance is like 65, 66, something in that area. It's at the premium zone. Can it go higher? Yeah. Could Bitcoin go to 114 or 112? Sure. But what's going to happen to the rest of the market when that happens? It's going to absolutely smoke to the upside. Bitcoin saves altcoins. Period. End of story. Now, this is big. Elon likes an X post that says he's secretly buying Bitcoin. You know, this guy gets some trouble in hot water. He draws attention to himself for whatever reason. And now he's got to pivot to crypto because everybody's got to pivot to crypto. By the way, saying not nice things about the orange man has now not worked out for this guy twice. He did it the first time, and that triggered two major events. One of them was the social disorder in Los Angeles. The second time, he comes after the orange man, and Bobby Kennedy comes out in an interview with Tucker and says, you know, the orange man's actually an empathetic guy. He actually cares. From Mr. Completely Squeaky Clean credibility himself. So next thing you know, Elon is apologizing, telling the orange man he did a good job, and he's liking Bitcoin tweets. Meanwhile, U.S. money supply is at an all-time high. This is really not the issue, even though I know people in crypto absolutely love it. You know, they plot M2 versus Bitcoin. That's not the issue. The issue is how much money can the Treasury print using stablecoins? The bigger stablecoins are, the more money they can print. The more money the government spends, the more money they have to print. And we talked about this yesterday, right? Out of macro assets, Bitcoin is the most sensitive to global liquidity. Out of all macro assets, Bitcoin is the most sensitive to global liquidity. Global liquidity equals money printing. It's a beautiful thing. The central banks print, Bitcoin gets bigger, and fiat dies. Right. Fiat doesn't have to die. You just have to find an alternative to the dollar. And like I said, if you don't want to buy the euro or the yen, I don't blame you, then Bitcoin becomes your only alternative. Meanwhile, back at the congressional ranch, if U.S. debt is eventually going to go to 175 trillion, what's another 2 trillion now? Now, is that responsible? No. But all these guys calling for the end of the world, like Ray Dalio, like, you know, everything's going bankrupt. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. And here is a great tweet thread explaining it. So this is the S&P this century. So the S&P since 2000, up only after 2008. Housing up only. Fueled by, household net worth, up only. Housing stocks. Okay, that's all fueled by massive amounts of debt. Okay, this is Ray Dalio, right? The end is coming soon. The end is coming soon. And then this guy says, very appropriately, will it break? Yeah, someday. Perhaps not in my lifetime. Will it happen with the lifetime of a 75-year-old Democrat, spending addicted Democrat in the White House under the guise of being a Republican? Doubtful. In other words, you're never going to get him off the sugar. Never. Absolutely never. U.S. dollar has lost 11% of its value this year. Now, I'm not going to go all boomer on you and pull up the dollar index chart again, because anybody who watches the show has seen it 42 times. There have been two gigantic dollar down moves in history. There was 1985, the Plaza Accord, where everybody sat around and agreed the dollar had to go lower. As simple as that. Went down for 2 years. Literally, straight down. Then there was 2000 to 2002, which was the dot-com bust with Greenspan cutting rates aggressively. Because that was, again, a time where rates were artificially high because Greenspan was trying to stop the tech bubble. Now, oh, look, you have rates artificially high. You have 50% of the population miserable. Miserable. 50% of the population. The polite guys say they're in a silent recession. They're actually headed towards a silent depression. And you know that based on who voted for that New York City mayoral candidate who I'm convinced is going to make us all rich. Really. He's going to be the money printing machine. He's going to be the reason why everyone gets on chain. And we'll go over that more in a minute, right? The dollar has to go down. And it will go down when people get a load of our politics, when you see who voted for this guy in New York City. privacy, antivirus, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum, Solana. You know, what about the AI trade? Seen Polkadot today? Woo! Anybody who thinks you don't need crypto, want to know how much you need crypto? Here it comes. Ready? Watch this. Watch this. They're trying to get Powell. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac boss urges congressional probe because the Fed's deceptive testimony about the $2.5 billion headquarters. Everybody need an economist. Economists need a $2.5 billion building to type on their laptop and do spreadsheets and data and write economics reports. The $2.5 billion building is not for them, not to keep them in. It's to keep us out. That's what that's for. Probably be filled with robots in 5 years, and they're trying to get them right. The New York Post is like, you know, top orange man type of propaganda groups in a way. They're trying to get Powell, and that means dollar lower. It does, because this kind of infighting and this kind of stuff doesn't lend to credibility. Back at the ETF ranch, the SEC is considering automated ETF processing, meaning we all don't have to sit around and listen to tribal crypto people complain that their coin doesn't have an ETF. This ETF trade, I mean, supposedly Solana's ETF launched like, I don't know, yesterday, and everybody did the sell the fact. Did the sell the fact work in the Bitcoin ETF? Those guys are still short at what, 48K? You got to be kidding me. None of that was priced in, and I don't think anything's priced in now. The asset allocation to crypto-related equities, the Circle IPO, and the subsequent Coinbase banana move told you this. Except, of course, they had to torture you. They had to send altcoins down. They had to make you think it wasn't happening. They had to have me throwing my papers across the room. I mean, I knew there was a July 4th big move coming. I even made a short video about a V bottom. Thank you very much. I don't think anyone watched it, right? Because people were so disgusted. Okay. RFKJ comes to the defense of the orange man. That ignited the Bitcoin rally. It did. As soon as that came out, everything turned, right? You're going to get what you want in crypto from this guy, I think. He's got 8% of his net worth in crypto. His bags are packed. Michael Saylor, hard money, right? Everyone forgets this. If it doesn't move, everyone goes, well, it's not moving. Okay. Still hard money. Here's the orange man. 8% of his net worth. Remember this from yesterday? Wasn't even news. No one cared. The biggest bank in Europe offering crypto custody. Meanwhile, Vitalik is bearish his own coin. Ethereum is at risk if decentralization is just a catchphrase. Okay, well, that's partly true. But then again, how could it be? Right? This is where, you know, Vitalik needs to hire me. The financial case for Ethereum, BlackRock is doing it. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's going to do it, right? Robinhood is already on Arbitrum. They're already there, right? This whole thing about everyone wanting to get on chain, like, you don't think you're going to need decentralized forms of money when the New York City mayor, if he wins, he could become a vice presidential candidate with AOC as the candidate one day? You don't think that's going to happen? This election is in November of next year, and he's on the tape every single day talking about his money is his money and your money is his money. We don't need to be decentralized? Okay, and you don't believe that. All right, fine. That's all right. That's okay. That's quite all right. Look at this guy, Peter Thiel. Launching a fund for a new crypto bank. Public service announcement that these characters, if you don't do crypto, if we don't do crypto, they'll do it. This guy got asked if he believed in the survival of the human race. And there was like a 10-second pause. Something like we should download our bodies into robots. Something like that. These guys are not your friends. Elon is not your friends. The tech bros are not your friends, right? Okay, maybe a little hard to see, but, you know, Everyone's stealing each other's people over there. There's rumors that these $100 million pay packages are not just rumors. Okay. So Sam Altman scoffs and Web2 writes the check. They're going to build something. There's a McAfee short on TikTok where he talks about control. I think the best lecture about why decentralization is in the YouTube member area. Period. End of story. I mean, it was one of the greatest podcasts ever because I was being a ridiculous, frustrated crypto bro, and Toby was just laying it straight down for you, just in case you don't think you need decentralization. Okay, again, these ETFs, approval for Grayscale, right? I mean, Grayscale has like 10 products, literally, more. And nobody's interested in Cardano. Oh, God, they slammed that yesterday. Holy cow. Let's interrupt this to go to live TA because oh, no. There's one more I got to get. Here we go. So let me get this straight. This is probably as of before this rally. So we have Bitcoin now close to 110K and fear greed was at 63, excuse me. When Bitcoin was at 95 in November, fear greed was like 93 or 95. Same Bitcoin price. Nobody's bullish. Altcoins washed out, left for dead. No point charting most of them. Now, I'm sure this number will change, but this is where we were headed into today. Right? And then if you go down here, you start looking at the TA. So first thing I notice is nothing in Ripple. Nothing. Zero. Except this could be a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. Nothing happening in Ripple, which is unbelievable. Like when the takeover rumors start about Ripple or the IPO rumors start, oh my God. That's why I think they're looking to get a banking license. They're going to get the banking license and then they're going to file for an IPO. And then you're going to see things you're not going to believe. Now here's Solana. We've been talking about this. 13 bottom, didn't quit on this. Yesterday, right? The new trend starts. Day 1, day 2, day 3. On day 4, according to the DeMark theory, that was the dip day. And we got the dip. And it looked terrible, didn't it? Horrible. Like, taking my research and like throwing it across the room in the YouTube member podcast. I didn't actually throw it, but I got close. Boom. Right straight back the other way. And again, Cardano, which, can be representative of the not high quality altcoin space. Yeah. 13 bottom. Look at this retest. Look at this. They took out the low, like all the stops. They got all the freaking stops and then they just took it the other way. Okay. Speaking of trading and stops and all of that. Okay. My guys over in Patreon. Okay. This is from our Gann model, July 4th tactical. Okay. Let's see. We wanted Bitcoin to hold 104 to 105. Okay. That was yesterday's lows. You would be holding 107 and looking for 110. And I had something. Okay, here's Solana, right? Pull back to 150 to 152 is a buy. Stop loss 147. Breakout above 158 triggers 172. The ideal buy zone was 2420 to 2450 yesterday in ETH. Absolutely unbelievable, right? Specifically, the 3rd to 5th of July was a good day for a reversal. Gann loved July 4th. So if you want to come check us out in Patreon, please come check us out. Please come check us out. Back to live TA. Look at this. So everything looks terrible, and then ETH explodes through support finally. Finally. Right? You know, I had been talking about a decisive break of the 200-day moving average, and I was so frustrated. I think I made the low by ripping it off the screen. However, the original read that if you wake up one day and this thing starts going, whoops. If you wake up one day and the thing actually does break the 200-day moving average definitively, it's off to the races. Solana hasn't even gotten to the 200-day moving average yet. The 200-day moving average in Solana is at 160. We're actually waiting for a breakout across the board. Like, I would still prefer to see this. This is Sui on a daily chart, right? Note, interestingly, the LuxAlgo buy signal in Sui was never invalidated. Same thing for Solana. The buy signal came in. The quantitative model buys it, you know, early this week, slams it down. The quantitative signal never got out. And this is also typical after a momentum signal. And I swear it was the only thing that saves me from getting negative. Okay, Bitcoin dominance. Okay, Bitcoin dominance is at its premium zone. This is a daily chart. So not that there's anything wrong with Bitcoin, and it's not that Bitcoin can't go to 120, but this chart will tell you if Bitcoin goes to 120 or 115 and makes a big new high on volume, that's got to take all coins with it. It's got to. It's absolutely got to. Look at this. Some of our GAN work, I'll give this tidbit away that when we did our DPIN reports, one of the layer ones that may wind up getting used by machines is Injective. Keeps coming up over and over again. Injective hasn't even overcome, it's up 11%, but it hasn't overcome resistance yet. Now, is this a false breakout? Maybe. We've seen this before. You want to wait for the breakout in some of this stuff. But the point is, it can still go up 20% and still be cheap relative to like where the resistance is. This is all going to get traded. You know, Avalanche, like I said, it's up 10%. Great. You don't really have to buy it today. But if it climbs above the resistance from the geopolitical event, World War Z, which didn't happen, I suppose you have to be ready for July 4th chop. You also have to be ready for this thing to make a huge move once New York goes home on Thursday. Matter of fact, I think New York is leaving today. That's why this thing is moving like this. They're not going to work tomorrow. They're going to take Thursday, Friday off. They're either going to take Monday off or Thursday off. So they're going to take Thursday off. They're going to square up their book. They're going to get invested and they're going to leave. And if they don't do that, the market's going to leave without them again. Again, holiday moves. And again, maybe this is the holiday move, but I still think you got to watch out for some kind of announcement from them, particularly since, as I discussed yesterday, they got everybody leaning bearish. Okay. Ripple trying to get a banking license. You know, if a bank doesn't want to do business with Ripple for cross-border payments, then Ripple will just become a bank. And then Ripple will IPO, and then XRP will go to $10 or more because XRP will become a bank, and then that will force the Web 2 player that takes them over to pay astronomical prices. Astronomical prices. Because that's coming, right? They're going to buy Bitcoin miners because they can't get their hands on enough Bitcoin, right? Think about this for a second. Just think about it. There were more Bitcoin treasury companies, more Bitcoin, blah. There was more Bitcoin bought by Bitcoin treasury companies than there was by the Bitcoin ETFs for like the third month or the third quarter in a row. So the companies are buying more than the ETFs. They want to get their hands on spot. What is going to happen when someone wants another form of decentralized money? Everybody knows about the value of paper currencies and how they have to fall. The only way they can fall is versus Bitcoin. And What else? Right? Meanwhile, with these companies buying more and more and more Bitcoin, there's not going to be any liquidity for them at some point. What is the only source of liquidity for Bitcoin? Miners. They're going to have to start buying the miners. You want Bitcoin? Fine, buy the miners. Do you know where these mining stocks are? They're up 15% today. I guarantee you, when you look at the chart, you will not be able to tell. You can't tell. Now, of course, this was nauseating because, you know, equities were kind of like taking the whole trade away from crypto. You know, alt season is in crypto stocks. HUT Mining up 15% today, opening up the biggest facility in Texas. Can you even tell this is a 15% move? It just got the equilibrium. Just got the equilibrium. I mean, I know that people who watch the show have seen this. I mean, this can go up another 54% until the premium zone. And if you zoom out on stuff like this, maybe you look at a weekly chart, 2 weeks. Oh, maybe a 1 week chart. Like the high in this is 81. Wolf up 12% today, just getting to the 200-week moving average. So Wolf has come back to kind of a long-term average. And if you close the week, which I believe is tomorrow, above $4.83, guess what? Now, of course, you've had 3 false breakouts, but equilibrium in Wolf, because I think they hold a lot of Ethereum, is at 21. Galaxy weekly premium zone is at 37 on a weekly chart. Marathon Digital just breaking its 200-week moving average. And I swear, yesterday, I absolutely hated these moving averages because the trade around them was impossible. And I'll tell you something else about Marathon. If this is what's going on here, if you have a shoulder and you have a head, you could have this. You could have this thing, because when you have a head and shoulders bottom, you have an upward sloping neckline, that's actually very rare. And if you break out and don't look back, this thing could go from 17 to 25. And if you have a monster move in Bitcoin on an announcement, or they do it, you know, it's the revenge of crypto, right? We get these guys when they're at the beach over the weekend and just ramp the whole thing. No one's going home without an allocation to these stocks. And you know what? Even though it doesn't look like much, we go to an 89-minute chart, maybe. This is MicroStrategy. This thing's been in an absolute box. I know he's issuing a whole bunch of other stock. There's a whole bunch of other ways to buy, so I get it. But they're short this, and it's now above 400. And I don't think it's too early to start looking at the weekly chart. Can you imagine what's going to happen to short sellers if this thing goes to the premium zone on the weekly chart at 540? Everybody is long Bitcoin, short MicroStrategy. What happens if that doesn't work? And of course, to drive the point home, like NASDAQ just continues to go up. If there's a risk, it's NASDAQ. But if NASDAQ somehow manages to sit here, crypto has huge upside. I mean, LuxAlgo is putting support underneath this move in NASDAQ. You want to know what your returns in NASDAQ are going to be over the next 10 years compared to Bitcoin? They've priced this thing for absolute perfection. Perfection. So what choice do you have? UK pension funds. So just so you know, a lot of these guys cannot buy Bitcoin. Okay. pension scheme to secure returns of about 60% from its Bitcoin allocation in under a year. So this pension fund figured out how to get involved in Bitcoin, and they're up 60%. Now you're like, well, okay. Yeah, but you're forgetting about the monkey see, monkey do aspect of Wall Street. Let me take a moment to explain that. So there are lots of pension funds. There are lots of hedge funds. There are lots of mutual funds. How do you know one from the other? Well, most of the time, they're all invested in very similar things. Like they have 60% stocks and 40% bonds, and sometimes they tweak it. But what happens if somebody, I don't know, 2 years ago decided to go to 5% Bitcoin or 5% MicroStrategy or 5% crypto diversified, whatever? They're now up 60%. And anybody else who has a similar 60-40 portfolio who doesn't have that Bitcoin kicker, guess what? They're underperforming. So if you only have 2 or 3% of your money in Bitcoin, or 2 or 3% of your money in altcoins, because remember, you can now get an Ethereum ETF, Ethereum treasury companies, and Solana treasury companies as ETF proxies. Companies who allocate to this stuff with the stablecoin trade happening and the approval of BESIT can start outperforming. And if they don't, they are fired. Like this 10, 15% move in crypto equities. Oh my God. That means nobody allocated. Nobody thought they had to do it. Everybody was going to do it after the holiday. Everything was terrible yesterday. Everything's going down like I'll do this on Monday. You're going to do it right now. You're going to do it right now, and you're going to do it in a hurry. And if crypto equities continue to trade this way, then nothing stops Bitcoin. And nothing stops the rest of the market from catching up with Bitcoin. Nothing. And it's all led by these gigantic mutual fund and pension fund characters, right? Which nobody really talks about. Like there's a huge amount of like good news in the market that's not being traded. 5-year energy supply deal for Hut Mining after they build the biggest facility. Nobody cared yesterday. Nobody cared. Now they care today. And these companies are going to be takeover. They're going to be takeover candidates. Look at this. Wait a minute. They must watch the show. Coinbase buys token manager Liquify as M&A heats up. What's M&A? Mergers and acquisitions. This is as old as the hill, literally. Issuing preferred stock. You want to talk about boomer? If you had said to somebody a year ago that that crypto was going to explode because a computer company was issuing preferred stock and there were going to be mergers and acquisitions, you would have gotten laughed at by a guy in a Bored Ape sweatshirt on his way, I don't know, to another party in 2021. This is being led by boomer financing, and this liquidity is going to come pouring into crypto. Like I said, 2 days ago, I saw record inflows into crypto, yet they still they smashed the market. They smashed it, right? And that was people giving up because it actually looked that bad. Wait, you mean the Chinese are involved too? Wow, they must watch the show. Chinese garment maker. Okay. AKA Chinese intelligence service unveils program to buy Bitcoin. They have lots of gold and silver. They're overweighted in that. They're overweighted. They're absolutely overweighted. And look at this. Pakistan is doing DeFi Bitcoin DeFi. Let me say that again. Pakistan is doing Bitcoin DeFi. Right? So, the innovator and then the imitators. Who's the new innovators? The guys who are figuring out how to get interest on crypto. And they are going into DeFi. And when the banks go into DeFi, they are going to want to own it. And this absolutely has been a core theme of Toby in the YouTube member area for months. Like we got people, we got our bags packed. Uniswap, Sky, Aave, Sonic, formerly Phantom, Injective. Bags packed, man. This is happening. Pakistan is doing it. And ironically, if Pakistan is doing it, you have to ask yourself, why aren't we? Why aren't we? Near 8%. Right? Because they have a new staking ETP. By the way, near another blockchain, most likely that machines are going to use. Machines are going to use it. Right? And there's another great article about who you're going to see walking around the halls at an investment bank. Who do you think it is? I think it might be Skynet. Robot workers with AI coming to banks near you. I saw it earlier today. I can't find it right now. But what do you think is going to happen? And I hate to say this. What do you think is going to happen if Zoran comes into Wall Street and hits them with some kind of wealth redistribution tax? What happens? The whole labor force goes robot. Okay? They go robot. And if you don't think we need decentralized AI, I would encourage you to think again. Right? So, the left's ineptitude creates this guy. This guy is literally going to create crypto, and I'm going to tell you why. Michael Saylor said that in his study, war creates the shift, the paradigm shift, where everybody who thinks they don't have to do the new thing is forced to do the new thing. For Saylor, it was the war on money back with cough, cold, and flu when they lowered rates to 0 and printed $14 trillion in 1 month. This next one will be the culture war. Ray Dalio has this all wrong. He's looking for a societal collapse. He's looking for Mad Max. That's not it, because the people who voted for the guy in New York City are like college kids. It's not his demographic who voted for him. It's not his demographic. 20% of the city that he just won the Democratic nomination from, let's just say they're the sworn enemy of his demographic. And that's got the largest population of those folks in the world. It's going to happen. It's happening now, right before your eyes. It's just not being priced in. Now, I know we have 2 requests that I probably missed. I think we had Deep. So let me get to Deep. I know we like Deep. I can show Zoran one more time because he's clearly going to make us, he's going to make us kings. Wall Street's going to come running to us going, oh my God, what should we do? My Bitcoin ETF, my account, I can't get into my account. It's frozen. I've been labeled an enemy of the state. Okay. I don't know. We talked about this. This is Deep. Ironically, okay, this whole dance around the 200-day moving average that made me frustrated to a degree. Somebody should go get a clip of me like deleting the 200-day moving average. Sometimes when you talk over day, you miss certain things. The one thing I didn't miss is that when stuff like this breaks out, it really breaks out. I'm afraid of resistance. I'm afraid of resistance. And by the way, this coin Deep, this is DeFi on Sui. It's only at equilibrium. Like nothing has really happened here. We're up 10%. So what? All coins went down 10% 2 days in a row. Like, net, where are we here? Like, let's like, let's do some micro TA, right? So there was the opening and the closing. There it is. Wait, there it is. So this is Deep. So, the deep dive. Okay. So 3 days ago, Deep was at 0.142. Then they had a rubber glove check everybody. Now it's at a whopping 0.147. Relative to 3 days ago, deep is 3% higher. Looks huge, like, oh my God, I don't know if I can buy after that candle. Well, okay. Well, this whole candle was all this is total BS. This is like a candlestick formation called old man nervous breakdown formation. Crazy. Right? And honestly, I don't know, maybe if you go to a 2-day chart, no. You know, you could argue from a candlestick point of view, now that I'm zooming in on it, the fact that you went up like this and weren't able to retrace the whole thing. Matter of fact, I think it's going to wind up being a 62% retracement, which happened across the board. It's happened in XRP. Yeah, 62% retracement on the number, and then it just explodes. It just explodes. And I don't, and this is true like across altcoins. Okay, Pengu, meme coins, why not? Let's do it. How long do you think it's going to take before Walmart figures out that they're going to have to feature Pengu toys for the holidays? I mean, do you know retailers, they start hiring people and getting geared up for holidays, okay, in August. They do the hiring for Christmas in August. The strategy gets built now. Pengu. So when you have these things that like totally collapse, I like to use like fib speed resistance lines. And what you can see here is that Pengu is at, I don't know, what is this? 0.014. Interesting. Very big market cap here. Okay. Not getting cooperation on that. 0.014. Notice how Pengu is breaking out, obviously a big rally. So naturally resistance over here, they're backing off, but look at this volume, right? And if they come back down and then they retest 0.14 even, like 0.14, 0.014. Guess what? Where's the next fib line? You know, and like all of these things, right? You got 73% until resistance. And I'm not sharing the screen. Okay, start over. So in Pengu, you have the Fibonacci speed resistance fan. Okay. And what you notice is this is something that you draw when you get the bigger the base, the higher in the space. You break out, right? You retest possibly even intra-candle because of this volume. Then if it holds 0.014, it goes up here to the next line, which is 0.025, which really, by the way, is nothing compared to where this thing was up at 0.04. And I think the thing that you have to make the point about Pengu, antivirus, all these things, all of them. Gann says if there was energy for a move, so this thing came out at a huge valuation. There was energy to take this to 3 billion. There was energy to take this higher. That energy doesn't go away. It doesn't. It someday returns. And if you open up the casino, all these kids that have nowhere to go, stay-at-home sons and daughters, you know what? Open the casino. Get them going, involved in crypto. Huckleberry Native, sir, you're never too late. You're never too early. You are right on time. Right on time, sir. We'll do extra for you today, man. For like the OGs, the members of Patreon, the YouTube member area, ladies, gentlemen, we salute you. Venice token. Here's the funny thing about this. Whatever it is, look at them bail out of this thing. Look at this red on red. That is absolutely, that's just the way I felt yesterday. Just absolutely throwing the towel, give up, can't take it anymore, done. And then, of course, boom, it's the other way. I mean, again, in terms of the value of the community, you know, I had my own guys yesterday be bullish when I was like, I'm bullish, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take this terrible price action. Pretty sure this is where I deleted the 200-day moving average. No. Let me get this back up in virtuals. Okay, one more time, virtuals. Because there is a point here. And guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say that this was a top coin yesterday when Toby did it on Crypto Showdown. These AI agents, they are so oversold. So oversold. This is not above the 200-day moving average if you look at it, and I'm going to go to DeMark. Okay, it's coming. Wow, the universe really does not want us looking at virtuals today. Okay. So I think you get the point. AI and crypto. Let's try Tau. Tau goes down, hits the 62% retracement. All the money flow goes negative. Everyone bails straight back the other way. It's only up 7%. But again, where was it the other day? Where was it the other day? Can't imagine what happened there. Okay. Going to macro analysis, like big picture, total crypto market cap, total altcoin market cap. Did you know that total altcoin market cap just got back above the 200-day moving average, which is not news, but is still below where it was on Monday? So either we're just chopping people around, which is possible, you know, or this buy signal on total altcoin market cap. So this is total 3. This buy signal in altcoins in general did not get unwound with this decline. It did. You know, Ondo put something out yesterday that says, hey, what about us? New LuxAlgo buy signal today, and look at where Ondo is. I mean, it's almost like it's so compressed and it's so distorted. You have to go to like a 2-day chart. This was pressing its discount zone on the 22nd. AVE never went down. This is the 2-day chart. It's a good look. We don't always do these high time frames. It never went down. It absolutely never went down. A16Z. You know who's got an absolutely rabid community is Vader. I keep seeing them on Lunar Crush. Keep seeing him on Lunar Crush with just huge social activity. Okay, if I got the right thing here. No. I don't know. Maybe the Eagle King can send me the link for AI16Z. I have a distinct feeling it looks like a lot of other AI agents. Let me see if I can get up Vader. Appreciate your patience today. Okay, Vader up 14%. This is a part of the Virtuals universe. Think if I had to draw something here, I might draw the Jesse Livermore accumulation cone. See how they had to take out the bottom just to make sure you still liked it? God, they do this all the time. They do it all the time. I'm determined on this. Doesn't want to happen. I want to see virtuals. Now I'm getting upset. I want it. Give it to me. There we go. Okay. Worth the wait, right? There we go. Down 200-day moving average. Money flow all negative. Everyone had already given up back in February. Perfect. Let's see. Go straight up. Everyone FOMO's in. They couldn't even get to the 62% retracement. They bang on the 200-day moving average for 10 days. And this is what I say about bull markets, and it happened to me. They wait you out. They push you out. They bore you out. Like yesterday, I swear to God, I was the low yesterday. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm doing like 2-3 shows a day. I'm like, I keep screaming, get in, get in, get in. And they keep dropping everything 5%. And when you know, BlackRock was just standing down there looking to take absolutely everything. T-Note knows, yeah, Bonk is running away. You know, and I'm going to tell you something about this. First of all, you can't even tell. Can you tell that's a 14% rally? It looks like a utility stock. I mean, Bonk doesn't get to its 200-day moving average. And you know what? Even if Bonk doesn't get to its 200-day moving average, yeah, it's got to go up like 20% to get there. It's got to go up 20%. And what's Bonk and what's whiff? Class? What's Bonk and what's whiff? Leveraged Solana. I don't know how to draw. I don't know what to draw in Pepe. Feels like this, to be honest with you. You know how I say handles are the worst? Let me ask you a question. This is Pepe. Is that choppy enough for you? Down. Oh, here we go. World War Z. Back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. This leveraged ETH, by the way. Remember those cartoons from Beeple? ETH never moving past 2,500? I think Beeple was trying to be contrarian and get it going. Big Rich with the super chat. Radium. You know, by the way, if you like Toby's version, which is extremely unique and extremely accurate, hence members super chatting. So I guess the value proposition for Radium is that they're going to try to compete with Pump.Fun. I don't know, man. It seems unreal how far they took that below the 62% retracement. Let me see if I just put in. Yeah, God. You know, this did a 76% retracement. Normally that's a currency thing. Look at how they ran the stops down here. You know, again, you can see the pain everywhere. Like virtuals, oh yeah, it was supported on top of the 200-day moving average, but they slammed it for 10 days. And look at this. This is just like, well, we're just going to take it down, stop everyone out. Everyone. I mean, I can tell you right now, like just honestly, this market got to such a point where it was hard. It was hard to make content. Like one of my favorite streamers, one of my favorite streamers, this person took her stream down to 20 minutes. Guess I just gave it away there. Some of the streams were 20 minutes because there was nothing to talk about. I don't blame her. I don't blame anybody. I mean, this thing was absolutely impossible in some points. Still looking for AI16Z. It's amazing that when you type these things in, you literally you can't find them. You wind up with the wrong token all the time. Actually, you know what the way to do this is? I know, because I'm doing this today. I'm doing this. This is important. There's a day to do live TA. It's today. It's today when people are tuned in, locked in. Everyone's like, oh, I missed it. Bro, you haven't missed anything. You haven't missed anything. This is how we do live TA on the YouTube member area. Like, I'll be Toby. Here's 1 year in virtuals. So look at it and go, that's a no-brainer. Just turn it up. Everyone's like, oh, I missed it. Miss what? You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything at all. Okay. AI16Z. There we go. Up 20% today. Can you tell? For 3 months? Can you tell? Not really. 1 month. I mean, look, if you look at this, I can't zoom on this. See this over here? I would call that what's called the previous fourth, meaning that's the start of the give up trade. Here's the start of the give up trade. We have not taken that out yet. This is not a confirmed bull market yet. Now, that's not a negative. All I'm saying is if you take out the top of the give up trade, then it's gone. Like really what this market has done is some things have like rallied off support like virtuals, but a lot of the market has not broken out yet. Bitcoin hasn't done a high volume breakout yet. It hasn't. God, look at this. Like the 1 year chart on Moodang, you can't tell anything happened. You can certainly tell something's going on the 3 month. And this to me feels like the bigger the base, the higher in the space. The Solana casino is open again. Right? Indie Rock Crypto, love you too, sir. Hourglass, ETH, BTC. Oh, well, you know I love me some ETH BTC. It's my second favorite boomer chart next to the dollar index. Okay. I'm not getting any. Oh, God, there it is. Holy cow, finally. Okay, one more time. ETH BTC. Hate this. Because this is it. Oh, yes. Okay. So ETH BTC monthly. Look at this. So ETH BTC 13 and 9 bottom, and you're below where it was in 2020. You've returned to 2020 when ETH had no use case. altcoins were never going up again. I'm on my live stream with my boss at 300 going ETH, 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 ETH. Next thing you know, MetaMask, Uniswap, Compound, Maker, Chainlink, boom. And it's all going to happen again. It's going to all happen again, right? T-Bone gets himself another 5,000 virtuals. Now, if you look at ETH BTC Tactical, I don't know what's there, but we'll check it out. Okay, so this would have been your dip day, and they did it one day early. I mean, why fade this? Let me see if I can get the Fibonacci retracement going here. Again, sorry about the delay, but sometimes it's worth the wait. Look at this. The 62% retracement to the number for ETH BTC. Everyone packed it in on ETH. They're going to run all the finance on ETH. Robinhood just told you that. Robinhood's going to be the only company with a blockchain running on ETH, right? You got to be kidding me. It's just no way. No way. Not happening today. Okay. I think we got the point. Okay. T-Bone, AXR, Axelrod. By the way, again, a YouTube membership gets you priority on comments. So a lot of members come into the live stream and they have me charted for them live. And I just did a bunch of stuff in Patreon before I came in here. So if you need requests, come visit us. Also, while I do this, you know, if you didn't know anything about crypto, what would you want to do? Would you want to read a textbook? Maybe? How about cyberpunks versus hedge funds? Toby Ward's got a book out called Digital Dominion. I think it's going to be front and center in every bookstore that has a crypto shelf. Okay, Axelrod by Virtuals, okay? Tough to get charts on stuff like this. Okay, you have a lot of wicks. Let's put it this way. Something inside the virtual world is going to go. It is, because decentralized AI is for real. And if you don't think we need decentralized AI, you probably want to check out Toby's book. Right. And I don't mind saying it. I don't mind saying it over and over again. The YouTube member area is built around her extremely high IQ. It is. Right? Because she can see and do things that I can't, and we put ourselves together. Okay? This is a metaverse for her book, Chrono Mystica. Okay? You can see the world, literally. Or you can come on down here and read the first 5 chapters. So if you live overseas and you don't have $1 US, not one, you can read the first 5 chapters for free. 4 chapters for free. And if you'd like to support our friend Toby, the ebook is $9 and the exclusive limited edition first print is $25. The first book I'd give anybody about crypto might be the Bitcoin Standard. That's if they knew absolutely nothing. If they already knew about the Bitcoin Standard, I'd give them Digital Dominion because they would understand the need for crypto. They would understand the need for decentralization. They would show you what happens when you put artificial general or artificial superintelligence into the hands of Web 2 or hedge funds. And it'll show you how to fight back. Because, as Toby says, it's about control. Like, who controls you? Well, you're like, well, nobody controls me. All right, well, who wants to control you? I don't know. Didn't we have news today about Peter Thiel? Like, who do you want? Peter Thiel, Sam Altman, or Chrono Mystica and Digital Dominion? Like, in other words, I'm a serious guy. This is a serious channel, but can we please have some fun? Can we do the virtuals universe? Can we get involved in AI? Can we get a book that you could read for $9? And I guarantee you, you read this book and then you come back in, you read the first 4 chapters of the book, and then you come back and you look at your screen and you look at the charts of some of these coins. They're up 10% today. So what? Like, it was winter. Not only was it winter, but yesterday was like deep freeze. Like, it was deep freeze. Like, I know, as a guy who talks every day as like a final monologue, when it's impossible to be bullish, when you can't say one more bullish thing because the price action is so horrible, that is the bottom. That's the bottom. And we read a lot of Gann quotes over in the YouTube morning meeting. So I know I'm going on and on here, and we appreciate everybody checking us out. But, you know, over here, here's the YouTube member area, right, where Toby's lighting it up. Chaos or Christmas for yesterday. Chaos or Christmas. Guess it was Christmas, per what Toby told you. And if you have absolutely no money, we're going live early in the morning from the YouTube Shorts feed, trying to imitate the Wall Street Monday morning meeting, except we didn't do it on Monday. So it's a more cerebral look. I want to let you guys know about it. Please continue to watch the market update. But if you want 10 minutes in the morning, and if you want to really know what's going on, because we do a lot of live picks. This show right here, this podcast, she's just like picking them out. And you know what? The market just crashed. She did it 5 days ago, and I bet everything that she looked at is still marked down cheaper. And I'm not even going to go into the amount of research that's in Patreon Platinum because I'm over time. Please come check us out everywhere, right? Especially the YouTube member area and Patreon. The time has arrived. The Gann work is hopefully here for altcoins to make a comeback, even if it's a choppy July. That is the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.